All right, guys, 2002 BMW 325xi E46. This is automatic. I was getting the COG of death, and all my scans point to the gear selector switch, transmission switch, neutral safety switch. Many names for the same thing. I think BMW calls it a neutral safety switch, but it kind of is a gear selector switch. But anyway, I was feeling some hard shifting right before I saw this COG of death. Hard up shifting, hard down shifting. And, it was giving me like a little bit of a clunk. And I was thinking differential things and, bushings and guibo and all these different things that could be in the drivetrain to cause a clunk in acceleration and deceleration. But then I got the COG of death and this hard shifting, and I was like, oh no. But then I remembered I did run through a lot of rain. We had like a tornado warning over here. And, I decided to drive in it for whatever reason, and saw a body of water, didn't know how deep it was, and I was already at speed and started going through it and realized, oh wow, this is deep. I should have slowed down, but I wasn't going to slow down in the middle of it, so I just kept going. Nothing shut off, no lights, no anything. But then the next day, I get the COG of death. And so I started out with checking fuses. I checked number 30, which is part of the ECU. That wasn't blown. I uncovered this cover here, took out the ECU and the TCU and checked for any moisture. I did see something that looked a little like moisture, but it kind of like, I guess if grease would have melted or something like that. But it was so minuscule and didn't seem like, I have no corrosion, which is great. And kind of funny because many years ago, I remember taking these out, looking at the ECU, because I was having some fuel delivery problems, or hard starting issues, which turned out to be a faulty fuel filter. But I did have corrosion then. This stuff looks brand new now, and I'm like, I don't recall sending it out to get it replaced or rebuilt or anything like that, so gotta check my notes. Anyway, no fuses in that box with the ECU and TCU were blown. TCU, ECU, no corrosion. But then I go to here. I'm not very familiar with how this is set up. I didn't know you would have to drop the pan and all of that stuff to get to the neutral safety switch, gear selector switch on this car. And Audi is external, you take it out, hard to get to, but you can get to it on the outside. This, you have to take everything down to get to it, and I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do that. But before I go and get ahead of myself, let me check. I don't know, I call this a bulkhead plug. I don't know what the BMW name is for it. Let me see if I can let you guys see what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, I am not... Where are we? I can get to show you this bulkhead plug. I disconnected it and saw immediately, see how soaked. So hopefully none of this moisture gets into the transmission itself, but this plug is soaked. I don't know if that's old corrosion, but I'm going to clean this up, dry this out, put everything back together, and see if I don't have any faults anymore. But that would definitely do a number on seeing signals or anything like that. I did read somewhere where someone said, oh, the gasket for the transmission pan is meant to keep oil in, so it might not keep water out. So I do have to check this transmission fluid, but I think I've found my problem. I don't think I have a bad switch. I think got some water intrusion issues here. So we're gonna clean that up, dry it out, and you know, going through the whole looking at the fuses and looking at the TCU and all of that stuff feels like a waste of time right now, but it's probably not. You want to be thorough. But yeah, I probably could have checked here first, because that was my first suspect. Driving through a deep body of water can cause problems, even if it doesn't shut you down. So I'll try to come back with an update on what happened here.